Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Okay, first, let me preface everything else I'm about to say with this. I am not against immigration, not against allowing people to come into this country. I get it. It's a great country, fantastic country. It's why everyone wants to come here. Why wouldn't you? But maybe maybe we should check people's motives and what they're really about. Maybe we should pay a little more attention to what they really believe. Are they really going to be? Are they really here to help create a cohesive society and to help add into our society and to help add into our culture? Is that what they're here for, or are they just here to push their own agenda? Coming to Australia, and yet at the same time, they stand up and go out and protest about things happening in the country that they've come from, and protest and making demands of the Australian government and the Australian people about things that are happening in their own country. Well, then go back to your own country. Like I said, it's not that I'm against immigration, but if you're so passionate about your own country, go back there. I, because this is what I don't get about immigration. I personally would not move from Australia. Okay. But if there's something wrong with Australia, I'll stand up and make my voice heard in Australia for Australian issues. I'm not going to go to some other country and then demand that that country takes a notice of me and my desires and tries to force Australia to bend, to change, and this country that I now live in must bend to my will. But that's what's happening here. That's what's happening with all these marches about Palestine. But and unfortunately, when you look at the bigger picture here with the Israel-Gaza war, Israel, while technically I think they might be winning, they might be winning the war. They're losing the PR battle. They are losing it big time. For example, a couple of weeks ago we had the bombing. There was a hospital that got bombed. And here in Australia, I don't know about other places, but here in Australia, for well over a week, what we kept hearing reports. There's concerns, there's accusations that it was Israel. The Israel military is the IDF. They're the ones that bombed this Palestinian hospital, this hospital in Gaza. They did it. Israel kept denying it. They kept saying, no, it's not us. It wasn't us. We don't do that. We're not going to do that. No. In the morning on news reports on our morning news shows, we'd have people coming up. Yep, Israel did this. They bombed. They've killed innocent babies. They've done all this. They kept saying, no, look, we believe it was a stray Hamas missile. Might have been an accident. Who knows? But it wasn't us. So for about, I think it was actually about 2 weeks, we kept hearing all this propaganda, all this blame of Israel. Then they came out with proof that it wasn't them. It looked like it might have been a missile that was either misfired or it's just crashed a bit early. So, in other words, people from Palestine, people from Gaza killed other people from Gaza. It's all very tragic. But the thing is, we had about 2 weeks here in Australia of that rhetoric going around that Israel bombed the hospital, Israel killed all the babies, Israel did this. And then when it came out, they had the proof there that no, Israel didn't do it. It was a stray Hamas missile. We had about 5 minutes of, oh, okay, the evidence has come in. It was actually Hamas. They've killed their own people, basically. And we're not going to talk anymore about that story. Go figure. So Israel are losing the PR battle. Not good. Anyway, let's check out this story here and why I was started off with my little discussion about little rant about immigration here. Police forcibly remove supporters against or after demonstration at Port Botany against ZIM Zulu in India Mike container ship. I was spelling it out because I'm not sure whether that's a acronym or whatever. Anyway, police have forcibly removed activists who gathered at Sydney's Port Botany in protest last night against the unloading of an Israeli-owned shipping company. Hundreds of protesters carrying Palestinian flags and holding up signs called for a boycott of Zim, an international shipping line, and an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. I love the way. All these people who are living safely, very safely in Australia, go out and protest and demand. We demand Australia does something. Well, we sit here peacefully in Australia, living the peaceful, quiet life. We're going to get out and stir up trouble and make demands, because that's what it's all about. We'll demand from the safety of Australia. If you think things are, your nation's being hard done by, and I'm not trying to attack or anything, but in all honesty, go back there. Go back. I don't understand the mindset. I'm being serious. I don't understand the mindset, because if this was me and I went somewhere else and I could see things happening in Australia, I would go back to Australia. But this is the country that I love. I go back and stand up for it. But if you haven't got the courage to go back and you want to call it all out from, thousands and thousands of kilometers away, seriously, I won't say anymore, but come on. Anyway, a jet ski with a Palestinian flag attached to it was stationed in the water off the major commercial port while a crowd chanted "Free Palestine" to banging drums. The Palestine Justice Movement Sydney, they even got their own movement in Sydney, PJMS, organised the demonstration targeting the Zim ship Calandra. Attendees were seen holding signs that said "Boycott Zim and end the Gaza blockade." PJMS organiser Ahmed Al-Abadallah said the Australian government should stop trading with Zim and other pro-Israel companies. Like I said, I love it. We come here, we're going to live in the safety of Australia, thousands of kilometres away, and then we're going to stand up and protest and make demands of the Australian government. You must bow to our will. You must stop trading. You must stop doing all these things because we want you to. I mean, we're not from the country, and we'll stand up and protest because because Palestine, Gaza is such a great place. We don't want to live anymore. We don't want to live there anymore, but we want you to bend to our will. Last month, Zim chief executive Eli Glickman said the company would be positioning its ships and infrastructure to aid Israel's defense ministry. Good on them. About 80 New South Wales police officers were also in attendance on Tuesday evening, including mounted units. At one point, a line of officers stopped the group from marching onto Foreshore Road, with the crowd chanting, "Let us pass." The protest moved to Sirius Road, one of the entry points to the port. Protesters were removed from their sit-in spot around 8:45. Protester Jenna Fayad, who is from the occupied West Bank, said one of the PJMS's mission was to dismantle what she called the Israeli apartheid system. Seriously, I don't know if these people just don't understand language, but it's not an apartheid system. Anyway, I mean, far be it for me to look it up and actually explain to you what an apartheid system is, but it's not an apartheid system. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but heck, it's not apartheid. Palestine has been suffering from a brutal military occupation for the last 75 years, she said. And you know why Palestine? Oh, one-eyed. I tell you what, Israel has completely shut off water, food, electricity, fuel, and medical resources into Gaza for the last 6 weeks. It's the latest demonstration to occur in response to the overseas conflict in Gaza after protesters rallied outside New South Wales Premier Chris Minns' office on Monday. Al-Abadallah, sorry about mispronouncing your name, Al-Abadallah, said he was disappointed in the state government's response to the protests because the New South Wales state government should be taking notice of what he says. I was one of those people who was cheering the Labor government when they won in the state and federal. I feel betrayed as a Palestinian, as a Muslim, as an Arab. See? So he doesn't even consider himself Australian. He's a Palestinian first, a Muslim second, and an Arab third. nothing about Australian. If you don't consider yourself Australian, then go back to whatever flipping country you came from. Seriously. Not trying to insult, it's not something racist. It's I don't, not against any particular group. I just feel this across the board. It frustrates me when I see people come to our nation and then insisting that we need to change or we need to do things differently, or our government needs to force the government where they come from to change, and then our government should be bending to their will. Like I said, if you don't like it, go back. Go back. It's all good. And this rhetoric about, about occupied Israel, in Palestine, occupied West Bank, and Palestine has been suffering from a brutal military occupation. I mean, do people realize what Palestine want? So here's the thing. The mantra that Palestinians live by, and you've probably heard this before, is from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The trouble is, what does that mean? When all these Palestinians and the whole, even the word Palestinian, even that name Palestinian, do these people realize where it came from? And it was actually created as a slur? I don't understand. Anyway, let's get back to it. So when someone says, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, what happens with the Jewish people? What happens with the Israelis? Because this is their mantra. This is their desire, their hope. This is what they want. They talk about apartheid. They talk about, living under this apartheid system, or being locked down, not being free to do what they want. But what they want is the complete destruction and annihilation of Israel. That's what that saying means. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. If the Palestinians have control of the river to the sea, there is no more Israel. So what they mean when they say that is they want the complete destruction of Israel. That's what they mean. So all I can say is people need to actually learn and actually do some research in what these things mean. Do some research in where the Palestinian name, the name Palestinian came from, what it actually means, where these people came from, how they ended up being there, why there are two borders. There are two borders from that Gaza area, one into Egypt and one into Israel. And yet no one's trying to get into Egypt. No one's just saying, oh, well, stuff it. I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to go over to Egypt. Or have a bit of a look and question, why doesn't Egypt take control? So all I can say, these Australian protesters, okay, wanting Palestine to be free, wanting the freedom, the Gazan people to be free, very disingenuous, in just my opinion. If you really want that, if that's what you believe, go back to Palestine, go back to Gaza, go and help your people, go and help get rid of the Hamas regime, go and help educate your own people so they'll stop trying to kill the Jews. Go and help try and better your country, your people. Help try and unite it instead of coming here and protesting and demanding that we need to change and that we need to force Israel to do things and we need to listen to your will. That's just my opinion. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher.